Hey, Craftinistas, welcome back to my channel and another episode of Craftinista Sundays. I'd like to invite you to like and subscribe to my channel and then connect with me on social media. You can find me on Instagram at Rickeysha Craftinista, and I'd love for you to join my Facebook group called Crafters Plus Creators. Remember, like and subscribe, and then leave your suggestions for future tutorials in the comments.
Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Craftinista Sundays. We got company.
Hi guys.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So I am so excited because today we are going to make some masks. And I am excited because it's on the floor, Mama. I am excited because I've gotten a few requests for patterns for these. I got something in my eye. I'm sorry. So I've gotten a few requests for patterns for the mask. And good morning, Vivian. So this video will be posted on my Facebook page, Rickeysha L. Godfrey. So if you can like and share the video, that would be great. I'm pretty sure there's other people, other hustlers, other crafters, other DIYers who may be thinking about making their own mask and maybe they're not sure where to start. And so I wanted to create this tutorial and allow people the opportunity, whether you're going to sell it or whether you just want to make some for friends and family, just to make a very simple design, something that's easy. If you really go straight through, I timed myself. The fastest I made one was like 7 minutes. So if you're really going straight through, not just, like I'm doing, I'm gonna go all the way through for you guys. But if you really go straight through, you can make it in as little as 10 minutes, really, or less than 10 minutes. And so it's really simple. It can be very cheap. Very inexpensive. So if you want to make some to donate, you can do that. And I want to thank y'all for joining me. So this is Craftinista Sundays. My name is Rickeysha, and this is my daughter Aubrey, who insisted on joining me when she realized that I'm going live today. So we are crafting on the patio today. It's a nice breeze. I love being outside. We need to get fresh air. Do not be cooped up in the house. And today we're going to learn how to make masks. So I'm going to show y'all some examples. So that's hers. And then, so there's a few here. And because I'm using supplies that I already have. So most of my fabric is like African print fabric. I don't really have a lot of just like regular stuff. So this is what the mask looks like. And it has the elastics here. And it has the pleats. And then to put it on, you just slide the elastic behind your ear.
Yep. That sounds good.
And that's it. Good morning, Angela. Good morning, Diane. Good morning, Rachel. Hi, my cousins. Get in here. You can like and share this video in any craft groups. Don't get me kicked out of none of them. But if you are in any craft groups that you feel like people might like to see this tutorial, you're welcome to share it. It's free, and I'll leave up the replay. So for those who don't know me, my name is Rickeysha Godfrey. You can follow me on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel, The Craftinista Life. And I also sell ebooks and webinars on my website at www.rickeysha.com. So as I said, today we're making masks that will look like this. And I wanted to keep the tutorial simple because people were asking me for patterns. And I was just like, girl, boys, listen, come closer. Keep it simple. Do not overcomplicate your crafts. This here, when you really look at it, it's a rectangle with pleats in it. That's it. It's a rectangle that has pleats in it, and then it has the elastics on the side. Now, it took my family a couple days to convince me to make these because I felt kind of dirty. Like, I don't want to take advantage of a pandemic to make a couple dollars. So I decided I'm going to make them for my friends and family only. But when I decided, all the elastic was sold out. Like Amazon said the quickest they could send me elastic was May 17th. So what I did was I went to Dollar Tree, and I'll show you the supplies that we're going to use. So you're going to need 3 pieces of woven fabric, right? So woven fabric is something that does not have holes in it. It's something that's pretty thick, like it's not like a netted fabric or something like that. It's a tightly woven fabric. If you're going to be here, you're going to have to stop that because you're making it hard for me to focus. So it's a woven fabric is something that has some capabilities to allow you to breathe through it, but it doesn't have a lot of holes in it. So like this is a woven, this Ankara is a woven, and you could keep it cheaper if you just went to like an social distancing, physical distancing, washing your hands, all that stuff. If you went to like, if your Walmart has fabric, our Michaels has like fat quarters. So if you went and got like fat quarters, they're usually like 97 cents, $1, $2, then you could make it with that. So you're gonna need 3 pieces of this, and it's cut into a 6-inch. It's 6 inches on the side, 9 inches long. So what I did, because I knew that I would be making a lot, I just took a piece of cardstock and I cut it out. So when I'm ready to cut out my pieces, I don't have to keep measuring 6 by 9, 6 by 9. But of course, in order to measure that, you're gonna need your measuring tape, you're gonna need some chalk, and you're gonna need some sewing scissors or just regular scissors to cut it out. Hi, Tiffany. You're gonna need some scissors to cut it out. Of course, you're gonna need your fabric. Now, I'm using the woven fabric for the outside, and then for the lining part, I'm using what's typically used for baby blankets. So I'm using this. It's like not quite fleece, but it's still pretty thick, and it has a little bit of move and motion to it, so it makes it easier for you to make your mask pretty thick and durable. So the 3 layers for my mask will be the baby blanket material, and then 2 layers of the woven fabric. So this will be the front and back, and then this is gonna go in the middle. And then for the elastic, since elastic is sold out, everybody's kind of getting creative. So I got these headbands. They're called head wraps, but I call them headbands, but on the packaging it's called head wraps. So I got these from Dollar Tree, and they come in packets of 5. Some of them had like 6 in it, but you can get them in these like really fun designs that have the bling already on it. I do not recommend adding bling to your mask because you don't want to inhale any glue or any other kind of chemical. So I would not recommend adding bling to the actual mask part, but you can always, like how these have it, you can have the bling like on the edges where your ears were going to be. But please, please, please do not add chemicals to places where you're going to consistently breathe. So these are some other colors for the headbands. If you have skinny elastic, you can also use that. This is 1/8 of an inch elastic, and you know, it looks a little better. If I'm being honest, it looks a little better with the black or the white, but we're trying to make do with what we already have. So you can, if you have the white or the black elastic, you can use that. I didn't realize I had some already at home, so my first couple masks I made with that elastic, but then when I ran out, I went ahead and I started using the headbands, and this feels more secure because it's thicker. And you know, I think that with the headbands it actually feels more secure. So what you're going to do to start out, you're going to cut out your fabric. So again, if you know you're going to make multiples, just make a little pattern for yourself, 6 by 9. You're going to measure that and then cut out your fabric. So you're going to cut out 2 pieces of your woven and 1 piece of your lining fabric. So I'm going to make another white kente print one. I'm making this one for my grandma. So I have 2 pieces like this, and I've already cut out my lining. I've cut out quite a few because I have some some that I need to deliver today. So I've cut out quite a few already. So in the interest of time, TV magic, let's pretend that you watched me cut this out. So I use this to trace on the fabric. I cut out the fabric. Now I'm gonna move my sewing machine real quick so y'all can see. All right, so what you're going to do is you're gonna make a lining sandwich, right? So, another thing you're going to need is an iron. So the iron will help with, ironing out the wrinkles from your fabric. And I've already been sewing, so that's why if you see little pieces of stuff on the table, that's where that comes from. So just to review, for your supplies, you're going to need 3 pieces of 6x9 fabric. You're going to need sewing scissors, chalk, measuring tape. Of course, you're going to need your basic sewing supplies, so your thread, your needle, all of that stuff. And you're also going to need an iron, and then you'll need something to help you turn out the corner. So you can use like a pencil, you can use a bodkin, but something to help you once you turn it over. You're going to need something to help you turn out the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I have a less wrinkled set. Okay, so this is less wrinkled, so I'm going to use these. See how like when you work a little bit ahead, it makes it easier. So when you're sewing, you almost always are going to be sewing right sides together. So we're going to put our lining sandwich together, and I'm going to put the right sides of the outside fabric together. So this will be the front, this will be the back, or vice versa, depending on how this ends up going. And then I'm going to put my lining face down. And then that's what you have so far, right? Then you're going to take your band. I don't know if I like this color. Let me see. I don't like this color. I'm going to use ivory. So you're going to take these, and then to make your edges, or to make your sides, all you have to do is cut this in half. Now, if you're using regular elastic, and this is going to be for adults, by the way. If you're using regular elastic, you would cut it 7 inches. Cut both pieces 7 inches for an adult, and between 5 and 6 inches for the kid, depending on the size of the kid. So what you're going to do is flip this over, and hold on. I should have put on Do Not Disturb because people texting me. So what you're going to do now, and if you've ever sewn before, this is the same technique that you would use when you're adding pockets. So you're going to take your pins. This is considered, when I say basic sewing supplies, this is one of the things that I mean. So you're going to take your pins. You're going to lift up the other side, and you're going to pin your elastic as if it's going inside of your sandwich. So you're not going to pin it like this. You're going to pin it this way. So you're going to pin it down as if it's going inside, because when you really think about it, once you flip it over, your elastic needs to be outside of your rectangle. So you're going to take this, and one of the ways that you can check it, because you know you're going to add pins, pleats, you can go ahead and test out your first pleat. Now, a pleat is nothing but a letter Z inside your fabric. And this is what I mean. It's a letter Z or S, whatever the hell you want to be particular. If you want to be, it's fine. So to test out the placement of your elastic, you can, do a draft of your first pleat to make sure that your elastic doesn't get caught up in that. So I made my first pleat here, and then I'm gonna place my elastic slightly below where I know I'm gonna put that first pleat. And then you're just gonna make a U shape and bring it around. Make sure that you don't twist it. So you're gonna make your U shape just like this. Can y'all see this? So I just want to make sure, because I don't want y'all to like miss nothing. So you have the letter U here, and you're just gonna pin that. So what I do just to make sure that it stays in place, is I pin it like this. And when I pin, I do it like down, up, and back in between. So this is how I pin. So I go down through the back and up through the front. And that's how I pin my fabric to keep it together. So if you just joined us, thank you for joining. My name is Rickeysha. This is Craftinista Sundays. And we are making our own Corona Couture masks. So thank y'all for joining. I'm going to check the comments because I know sometimes I miss y'all. So I said good morning to Angela. Good morning, Sophia. Good morning, Vivian. Or Sophie, sorry. Good morning, Ro. Good morning, Annette. Thank you all so much for joining. Hi, Papita. Hi, Walter. Hi, Crystal. Hi, Lakita. So we're making our own Ankara face mask. And full disclosure, this mask is not a replacement for the N95, which actually filters out stuff. For me, I am a very touchy person, and so one of the directives is for us not to touch our faces. And so when I'm out, when I do go out for essentials, it helps me to make sure that I am not touching objects and then touching my face. And what I do to make sure I don't do that is I put it on as soon as I leave the house, and I don't touch it anytime that I am out. And then when I come back, before I come in the house, I take it off, I sanitize my hands, and then I spray it with Lysol and let it air out in the garage. So some of my nursing friends have been very, very helpful with teaching me about cross-contamination, because some people, I think this is a good time for all of us to learn about it, because you don't want to have the mask, and let's say you're in Walmart, you're wearing the mask, now you done touched the cart, now you touching the mask to adjust the mask, now you touching something else, you touching your phone, you touching all this other stuff, and now the mask is obsolete. So the whole point of it is so that when you are out, that if you're sick or anything like that, you're making sure that you're not touching objects and then turning around and touching your face. Because until I got a dermatologist, I didn't even realize how much I touched my face until somebody said, Rickeysha, stop touching your face. And then I became more conscious of it, and I'm like, oh, I keep touching my face. So this is what this mask is good for. I'm seeing already people are turning it into a fashion statement, which I love. It means that people are taking it more seriously and they're making it their own, which is great. So far what I've done is I've cut out my fabric and I've pinned my elastic on the inside. Now what you want to do, for the sake of aesthetics, if you're particular like me, you want to make sure that you're pinning your elastic in the same place on both sides. So what I'll do, because it's pretty long, I can just line it up from one side to the other. And then that's how I can double check it, because it will look wonky if you don't pin it in the same place on both sides, and you don't want it to be crooked. The whole point of this is to make sure that the mask actually fits you and that it stays on you and that it doesn't fit you in a way that makes you finicky to where you feel like you're going to be adjusting it a lot, or you're going to feel a way about wearing it, because then you're going to pick at it and touch it and then it's not going to be effective. So we have the elastics pinned down, and these are going to be the pieces that will go behind your ears. And then you're going to make your sandwich. So this is right side, and I'm going to pin it with the other right side. Now I'm going to remove this pin, making sure that I don't move the elastic. I'm going to remove this pin and then just put it back on the top. That's it. So don't actually move the elastic. You're just removing the pin and then pinning all three layers together. And you want to try to line them up as closely as possible, because the point of sewing is to make sure that all three layers are combined. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, being careful not to move the elastic. I'm just going to pin it. Now you can pin it horizontally, you can pin it vertically. It's really up to you. and what you're most comfortable with. Since I use a magnetic pin holder, then it makes it easier for me when I'm sewing. I can just pull out the pin and make sure that I keep it safe. But it just really depends on your style. Some people pin up and down, some people pin left to right. It really depends on your style. So then the next thing you want to double check is to make sure that all 3 layers are lined up, which they pretty much are, and that the pin went through all 3 layers, which it did. And then what you're going to do is you're going to sew around the perimeter, just a straight stitch around the perimeter. When you're sewing, you want to start with one of the sides. And the reason for that is because you're going to leave a little bit of an opening on one of the long edges to allow you the space to turn it right side out. So when I'm sewing, I'm going to start on the edges, I'm going to go all the way around, and then I'm going to leave about 2 to 3 inches to make it easier for me when it's time for me to flip it right side out. So that's what I'm going to do now. And if y'all have any questions about sewing, about making the masks, anything like that, you can ask me. I've been making them for every bit of 2 days. And I've made them for my friends and family. And that's pretty much where I'm stopping with it. If you decide that you want to sell them, that's okay too. You want to start with a back stitch, which I just realized that I didn't. So you want to back stitch it, and then also because my machine, I don't want to have to yell over my machine, so I'll just walk you through what I'm going to do. When I get to the point where I have my elastics, like here, I'm going to back stitch it and then stitch over it again, just because there's going to be some tension there, and you want to make sure that it's secure. So we're going to, all in all, we're going to sew over the elastic about 3 to 4 times, because I'm going to sew over it once, I'm going to back stitch it, I'm going to sew over it again, and then when we flip it inside out, I'm going to sew over it again. And this makes sure that it's secure, because you're going to take it off and take it on, take it off and put it on. And you want to make sure that, you know, that it's secure. And I'm always about making quality stuff. Now you can make your machine move as fast or as slow as you're comfortable with. And I am using the needle that's for woven fabrics. I think it's purple. And usually I sew much faster. But when I go live, I get nervous, and I want to make sure that it actually comes out right. So I'm going to sew over this. So I went over it once. Now I'm going to back stitch it. And I'm going to go over it again. And I just realized I didn't do the top one. So when I'm done, I'm going to back stitch over that one. Now, I have a Brother SE400. So it allows me to lift up my presser foot and turn the object that I'm sewing without having to remove the needle. So with my machine, that's how I can turn when I get to the corners. If you do not have a machine that allows you to do that, you can just slow down on how fast you're stitching, and when you get to the corner, just slightly turn it, or just stop and, you know, make adjustments for your machine. So again, I'm going to lift up my presser foot, turn my fabric, put the presser foot down again, and I'm going to start sewing again. I'm going to remove my pins. I'm crossing over the elastic, so I'm going to back stitch over it again, and then forward stitch. Same thing up here, remove my pin, stitch over it forward, back stitch, and then stitch forward again. Another corner, so I'm going to lift up my presser foot, turn it around, and this is my last edge. So this is the edge where I have to be mindful and make sure that I am leaving enough leaving a pocket essentially so that I can flip it right side out. So I'm going to put this down again. All right, so that's as much as I'm going to sew at the top. And this is what we have so far. So it's really just a rectangle, and then you can double check to make sure that the stitches went through all on the other side. It did. The color of your thread doesn't matter here as much because nobody's going to see it. On this side, what you want to do, if you see that you have some excess fabric that's on the outside of your stitch, you can go ahead and trim that. So if y'all can see, like on the thread here, I have some excess fabric, so I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut that, because it's going to make, when you flip it over, it's going to make it lumpy. And then you can clip your corners as well, making sure that you don't clip through your stitch. So I'm going to clip around all sides, and then before I flip it over, I'm going to back stitch over that one that I missed. So I'm just trimming off my sides now, just to make it neater and cleaner when I flip it over. So this is what I have so far. Now, which one didn't I back stitch over? This one. All right, so I'm going to back stitch over this first before I flip it back over. All right, so that's that. Now I'm going to use my pocket, see, and flip it right side out. This is where your bobbin or your pencil or whatever blunt object you have comes in handy, so you can push out your corners. So all I'm doing is just turning it right side out, and as you can see, my sandwich worked. So one side is my fabric, the lining is now in the middle, and then I have the other side for my fabric as well. And this is white kente that I ordered from Test World Designs. They have a store in Decatur, although my friends in Atlanta tell me non-essential businesses have been closed in Atlanta, and I'm not sure if, I know they have an Etsy shop, and their website is testworlddesigns.com. They are black owned, which is the only place that I will buy African fabric from, is black and brown people. So this is what you have so far. This is your rectangle. You have your elastics on the side. You can tug them to make sure that they are secure. Do not be afraid of testing out your product. And if it doesn't work, if you realize that you didn't sew through it well enough, now is the time for you to realize that while you still have all your stuff out, versus waiting until the end and then you realize that you actually should have tested it out. So the next thing you're gonna do is press it. Since this fabric is pretty thick, it also wrinkles quite easily. It's like a couple steps away from mud cloth, so it's pretty thick, but it wrinkles very easily, and I don't like the way it looks wrinkled. So I'm gonna go ahead and press this. Y'all can talk amongst yourselves. Hold on, excuse me, baby.
Hi.
You gonna talk to him? I'm telling your name? No? Okay. So I'm just pressing this. And what I also did...
My name is Aubrey.
Okay. That's it?
And I'm 5. My
Okay.
birthday is May 1st.
Okay. That's it? You done? So what I did for the pocket, I went ahead and folded it inside so that when I press it down, it is flush with the rest of the seams, right? So all I did, because the seam was like this, so I just folded it inside so that when I press it down, it's gonna be blended with the rest of my seam that goes across the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and press it just like this. And you can use just a regular household iron. You don't need to like go buy a super fancy iron. Don't let nobody tell you that you need fancy stuff to do this. So, hold on, baby. Alright, so this is what I have so far. Am I sitting on you? You okay? Okay. Alright, so this is what I have now. So you can see the little pocket where I left out that part so we can flip it in. Now that has been pressed down. And the reason why that's important is because when you press things down when you're ironing, then it makes it easier once you're ready to actually sew it down. So if you use an iron while you're sewing, then it makes sewing easier because, you know, then you already have it, your fabric is already kind of trained. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make our pleats. So hi Angela. So Angela asked what size my template is for kids. So for adults it's 6x9, for kids it's 5x7. And for adults I just use the headbands from Dollar Tree, and they end up being about 7 inches. So for kids, like for Aubrey, hers, I made her elastic like 6 inches, 5.5 or 6 inches. And that also accounts for seam allowances and stuff like that as well. So this is what we have now. And what I'm gonna do next is make my pleats. Now if you've never made pleats before, think of it like, what's that thing that Steve Urkel used to play? Think of it like, what is it? I can't think of the name now, and I just watched Family Matters. But think of it like you're making a letter Z with your fabric. So you're going to do like Z, 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 like that. All right, so I'm gonna show you. She says hi, Natalia. All right, so what you're gonna do, the first thing that you're going to do is fold it over for the bottom of your Z, like this, and you're gonna go all the way across. So when you're making your pleat, you want to make sure that you're going all the way across. So you're gonna start with your bottom like this, and then you're gonna flip the top part over the bottom. So I'll show you again. So this is gonna be the whole size of the pleat right here. This is going to be the whole size of the pleat. So then now that you have the whole side turned down, you're going to flip it back over and on top of itself. And what I'm going to pin it so then you can see what I mean by making a letter Z. You're going to pin down and then back up. Right? So it's like a backwards letter Z. Like snaps in a Z formation, and then you're gonna pin it on the other side the same way. Now I'm pinning this horizontally because when I sew it, ow, prick myself. I'm pinning it horizontally because when I sew it, I'm gonna sew it down, and for me it's easier to use. I want to make sure I'm not bleeding. For me, it's easier to use horizontal pins instead of vertical ones. All right, so then we're going to make, hold on. I'm going to check the question. Hi, Aisha. Yeah, it's called an accordion. Thank you, Natalia. It's called an accordion. That, like that thing that goes in and out that Steve Urkel used to play. That's what it's called. All right, so we have, I'm bleeding. Hold on, y'all. I pricked myself. Let me see your napkin. This is why. She wants to start a YouTube channel, y'all. So that's why she's like sitting here with me. She wants to start a YouTube channel, and I'm on the fence about whether I'm gonna let her do it. Because I know it's really going to be my YouTube channel, and I'm going to be the one doing most of the work. Yeah, but I'm going to have to manage it. So that's why we are on the fence about whether she can start a YouTube channel. Okay. I think I stopped. Yes. Did you get that phone for Christmas? Oh, I don't remember.
They're for Christmas.
Oh, okay. Alright. I think I stopped. Okay. I got hand sanitizer. Hold on.
You don't want your hands to get bugs.
No, I don't want my... I don't want any trouble. And FYI, this is for me. I'm going to keep this one for myself. My grandma will get the other one. Alright, so we have the first pleat at the top. Now, what we're going to make is 2 pleats. So you see we have the top pleat, the middle pleat, and then the bottom is just straight. So I'm going to do a second pleat so that when you open it up, and you're only going to sew the pleats down the side. So you're not going to sew like across at all. So that when you open it up, the pleats remain on the side and then you have more space inside the mask. That's the purpose that the pleats serve. And the same thing, like you can see it for this one. This one's for my dad. He loves Florida State. So see, all gifts. I don't want to sell them. It's a lot. I don't like. I'm gonna just leave it at that. So then the second pleat, I'm gonna put it in the middle. So I'll show y'all what I mean. So the second pleat, I'm gonna put it in the middle. It's gonna be a little bit bigger, and it's going to be after the elastic, right? So to do that, yeah, she does, Terrell. She's like my little shadow, and she tries to do everything I do, which is why I have to try to stop cussing. Because I printed out, if y'all were with my vision board, if y'all did my vision board live, was it last week or a couple weeks ago, I printed out my quotes that had cuss words in it, and she's learning how to read. And she was like, Mommy, I think this is a bad word. It was one that said bad, like because you are a badass or something like that. And she was like, I think this is a bad word. And I'm like, oh gosh. So I gotta do better. So I'm gonna show y'all how to pleat. You know what? Know what I decided when I cuss? I'm gonna just try not to use the big ones. Like I'm gonna do like hell and damn and like the little ones, but the big ones, like the big F-bombs and the big B word, I'm trying to stop using that one. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show y'all how to do the second pleat. So we have the first one here, and then to do the second one, you're going to pinch it below your elastic. So I'm gonna show y'all. So you're gonna pinch below where the elastic is on both sides, and then when you pinch your fabric, it automatically will give you that crease, and all you have to do is fold it down. So now you have your 2 pleats, and it's taking that accordion shape, and so all you have to do now is pin it down. Y'all see where I put my pins? Oh, I found them. Clearly I need to be more purposeful. And it's getting hot out here. I should have did this in the house because I'm hot. Alright, so then we have this on the edge. And the reason why I'm pinning it in the spot that I'm pinning it is because when I sew it down, I'm just going to bring my presser foot right across here. So it's going to be easier for me to make sure that the pleats stay in place if I put my pins here versus somewhere else. Now, when I ironed the pocket down, now that saves me a pin because it's staying down on its own. Mommy, you loud. Huh? You loud. You gotta turn your headphones down.
Sorry.
It's okay. Alright, so now this is what we have. So we have both sides pinned. And now what we're going to do... Fudge. I like that. What the fudge? My mom says, what the ham sandwich? And it trips me out because it's like, I know you want to cuss, but around the grandkids, she'd be like, what the ham sandwich? So what we're gonna do now that we have our pleats pinned down, and you know it'll open up like that. You have your pleats pinned down. You can go ahead and press it one more time to press down the pleats, and then after you press it, you're going to sew around the perimeter. So you're gonna sew the whole thing. Now at this point, if you haven't been using a coordinating or matching thread, like sometimes I used to get really loud colors from Hancock Fabrics like lime green, hot pink, and I would use that for my beginner projects, and then I would switch to coordinating thread when I'm gonna overstitch it. So this will be the point where you're gonna do that, because this is the thread, these are the stitches that people are going to see. These are like customer facing stitches where people are actually gonna see these. So you wanna make sure that you keep them as straight as possible. So all you're gonna do is sew around here, you're gonna sew down, you're going to sew back up, you're going to sew back across. When you sew at the very top, you want to make sure that you're catching that pouch, because you see that part is still not closed. So you want to make sure that you definitely catch the pouch part when you're sewing it down. So you can press it again. Uh-oh, mama. Sorry, y'all. You okay? Okay, go sit in the other chair, baby, because I see I can't move. Go sit in the other chair. Oh, over there. Alright, so I'm just pressing down the pleats. So I press down my pleats, and now all I'm going to do is sew around the perimeter. Now I have black thread in here, and this is what it looks like sewn with black thread. Typically, I would use ivory thread, something that's, you know, more matching, but I'm just going to stick with black because I have a lot of it, and I don't know how long the craft store is going to be closed. So I want to save whatever I have, and this is for family, so they're gonna be grateful anyway. So you're going to start with your back stitch and then stitch forward. I'm going to slow this down because I need to make sure that my stitches are straight. Got it?
I need to push the chair.
Mommy, you can just sit in the chair right there. I'm almost done. So I'm going to lift up my presser foot just like I did before and turn the fabric. This is so pretty. I've made skirts, head wraps, headbands with this fabric, and it's so versatile. I've seen people make backpacks with it, bomber jackets. So when this is all over, support your black-owned businesses, support your black-owned craft suppliers. Since the pleat is already sewn down on the one side, I'm comfortable taking the pins out on the other side because I know they're pretty much going to stay. Since I've worked with this fabric a lot, I know I'm very familiar with how it works. Alright, so I'm going to turn this. And finish top stitching. Oh, this is so pretty. Finish it off with a back stitch, or 2 or 3. Take all your pins out, and I always trim my extra threads. So if y'all are just joining, you missed it. But I'm gonna post a replay, and since this one is recorded on my phone, it'll be easier for me to add it to my YouTube channel, The Craftinista Life. So this is the mask, and I'm gonna press it one more time. So this is the mask. This is what we made today. And all you do to put it on,
Yes, they put it like that.
mm-hmm.
So nobody can cough on your nose.
And that's it. Yep. So you don't cough on other people, and so other people can't cough on you. So this is the mask. And I want to thank y'all for joining. I'm going to check to see if we have any questions. Hey, Grandma Pat, I just made your second mask. So I don't know how you about to get it, but it's made. I made it. So these are very simple masks. They're really just rectangles with pleats and elastic on the side. If you're that type of person that gets intimidated, just think this is a 6x9 rectangle with 2 pleats and elastic on the side. If you cannot find regular sewing elastic, I use the headbands from Dollar Tree. They call them head wraps, but I'm black. This is a headband. I just use those and I cut it in half. And that's all this is. So if you are looking for a mask, if you have a sewing machine, I know a lot of people have sewing machines at their house and maybe you've never used it before. 6x9 rectangle, this 6 inches by 9 inches, cut it out, cut 3 pieces. I use 2 pieces of this fabric and 1 piece of fabric for a baby blanket. I actually had this because I was gonna do a milestone blanket like a year ago. I never did it, but yeah, I have some baby blanket material. I just buy stuff, so I'll go through the remnant section, and sometimes I just buy stuff just to buy it. And then, you know, things like this make being a craft hoarder much more satisfying, because now I'm able to use all the things that I kept hoarding and saying I'm gonna buy that because one day I'm gonna need it. And I'll be darned, I needed some of this stuff that I had been hoarding, and I am so proud of myself because I had it. I didn't have to go to the store. So today we made our own DIY face masks, and I love these. Like I could see people turning them into a high fashion thing. And like I mentioned before, this is not to replace the N95 mask. This is not, you know, to effectively prevent you from getting that Rona, or to prevent Miss Rona from showing up to your door. This is to help you from touching your face, from, you know, it filters out some stuff, but it's not to prevent you from getting Miss Rona, okay? So don't come back to me and say I wore one of the masks. None of that limited liability. This is just a handmade mask, honey. So if you want to sell these, I've seen people selling this style, or even the circle style where you pretty much do need a pattern. I've seen people selling them for $15 for adults, $12 for kids. For my family that's out of town, I'm only charging them shipping, so I'm just sending them priority, $8. But if you want to sell them, I've seen them sold for as much as $20 and as cheap as $10. So it could be a good money making opportunity for you, especially if you're able to get your hands on some elastic. I did not anticipate an elastic shortage at all. I am spoiled. I am used to just looking up something on Amazon and getting it the next day with Prime. When I looked up elastic, them people told me we might be able to send it to you by May 17th, but it ain't guaranteed. And I was like, May 17th? Did I sleep a couple months, or is this still March? So it's getting really serious. I hope that all of you are social distancing. I hope that you're physical distancing. I hope that you are washing your hands for 20 seconds with antibacterial soap, and that you're carrying around your hand sanitizer, which we have it all over the house. And yeah, so we were able to make glitter masks today. Thank you all for joining me. If you're not already a member of my group, Crafters Plus Creators, I have something special to share today. I'm updating some of my branding stuff, so I'm so excited to share something with y'all later today that I'm going to debut in my craft group, and I'm so excited. For those who don't know me personally, I'm a very, very particular customer. I know that sometimes I can be the customer from hell, but I have been very blessed to be able to work with people who are very detail oriented, just like me, who can give me exactly what I want. So if you're not a member of Crafters Plus Creators, you can join today, and I'll be adding people today. If you haven't joined my mailing list, you can visit my website, Rickeysha.com. You can like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Craftinista Life. I want to thank y'all so much for joining me. I love you guys. Stay safe. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other. If nobody has told you today, you are loved, you are appreciated, and you are necessary. Thank you so much for joining. I'll post this replay, and if you're watching the replay, post a pink heart so I know to come back and say hi to my cousins. Love you guys. Bye.